Today is February 13th, 269 AD Rome. What really happened to the man your Valentine's Day is named after? His name is Valentinus, and in 24 hours, he'll be dragged into the street and beheaded. Why, you ask? Well, let's find out. Every February 14th, billions of people celebrate love. They buy chocolates, they send cards, they make reservations, and they do it all in honor of a saint they know nothing about. But what I found isn't about just candy and roses. This is the story of forbidden religion, political rebellion, and a man who chose death over compromise. Pay attention.
Rome, 269 AD. The empire is at war on every front. Germanic tribes in the north, Persians in the east, and Emperor Claudius II, Claudius the Cruel, needs soldiers, thousands of them. But there's a problem. Roman men don't want to enlist. Why? Because they're married. They have families. They have something to lose. So Claudius makes a decree. No more marriages. Not officially banned, just quietly outlawed. No ceremonies, no legal unions. If you're a young Roman man, your only commitment is to the empire. It's brutal, it's effective, and it's tearing Roman society apart.
God, not my child!
Let go of me, I have done nothing!
Take him back, please!
Move! Keep moving!
Mama! Mama!
Enter Valentinus. Valentinus was a Christian priest, but in 269 AD, being a Christian in Rome wasn't a career choice, it was a death sentence. Christianity was illegal. Worshipping Christ instead of the Roman gods was considered treason. Christians met in secret, in catacombs beneath the city, always one raid away from arrest. But Valentinus didn't hide. He ran a small church near the Via Flaminia openly. He healed the sick. He counseled the troubled. And when Emperor Claudius banned marriages, Valentinus did something insane. He kept performing them anyway. In the dark corners of his church, after sunset, Valentinus performed secret marriages. He joined couples the empire said couldn't be joined. He blessed unions the emperor had forbidden. He wasn't doing it for love. He was doing it because he believed the empire had no right to separate what God had brought together. It was an act of defiance, of rebellion. And eventually, someone told the authorities. The arrest was brutal. Mid-ceremony, a young couple, barely 20 years old, stood at the altar as soldiers kicked down the door. The groom was conscripted on the spot. The bride was sent home. And Valentinus, he was dragged before the prefect of Rome, a man named Asterius. Now here's where the story gets complicated. Because Asterius didn't want to execute Valentine. He wanted to convert him.
Then let the record show your defiance.
This decree, it will mean bloodshed.
Asterius was sophisticated, educated, and secretly curious about Christianity. He'd heard Valentine could perform miracles, that he'd healed the sick, restored sight to the blind. So Asterius made Valentine an offer. Prove your God is real. Heal my daughter. The girl's name was Julia. She'd been blind since birth. Asterius loved her more than anything in the empire. And if Valentine could restore her sight, Asterius would convert to Christianity. He'd use his influence to protect the church. He'd free Valentine. All Valentine had to do was perform one miracle. The historical accounts vary on what happened next. Some say Valentine prayed for hours. Some say it was instantaneous. But every version agrees on one thing. Julia opened her eyes, and for the first time in her life, she could see. You'd think this would be the happy ending. Asterius converts. Valentine goes free. The church is protected. But it wasn't that simple, because Asterius had a problem. He was the prefect of Rome. His entire career, his power, his legacy, all of it depended on loyalty to the empire, to the emperor, to the Roman gods. If word got out that he'd converted to Christianity, an illegal religion, He'd be executed alongside Valentine. His family would be disgraced. His daughter would lose everything. So Asterius made a choice. He thanked Valentine for healing his daughter. He admitted Christianity had power, and then he sentenced Valentine to death anyway. Not because Valentine had failed, but because he had succeeded, and that made him too dangerous to live. Valentine was thrown into prison to await execution, beheading, the standard punishment for defying imperial law. He had 1 day left to live, and this is where the Valentine's card tradition actually begins. Because Julia came to visit him.
Move no further, woman.
It was not for thanks, Julia. It was what had to be done. Because no one should suffer as I did.
Julia defied her father and snuck into the prison. She needed to see the man who'd given her sight, the man her father had condemned to death. The historical accounts say they talked for hours about faith, about sacrifice, about what it means to choose something greater than yourself, even when it cost everything. And when the guards finally told her she had to leave, Valentine asked for parchment and ink. He wrote her a letter, not a love letter, not in the romantic sense, but a letter of profound gratitude and farewell. The exact words have been lost to history, but the tradition says he signed it, from your Valentine.
The words must survive even if I do not. Every stroke, a prayer.
February 14th, 269 AD dawn. Valentine was led to the execution site outside the Flaminian Gate, the same road where his church had stood, the same road where he'd performed those forbidden marriages. Roman executions were public spectacles, designed to intimidate, to remind people what happened when you defied the empire. But something unexpected happened. The couples he'd married, the ones who risked everything to be together, they came. They brought flowers, almond blossoms, which bloom in February, a symbol of enduring love and new beginnings. They didn't chant, they didn't protest. They just stood there, holding hands, while the man who'd blessed their unions was executed for it. The executioner's blade fell. Valentinus died. But the flowers remained. That's where Valentine's Day comes from. Not from candy companies or greeting card manufacturers. From flowers left at an execution site. From couples honoring a man who believed their love mattered more than an empire's loss. But the story doesn't end there. Within a generation, Valentine was declared a martyr, a saint. His execution site became a shrine, and every February 14th, Christians would gather there to leave flowers and remember his sacrifice. But here's where it gets weird, because the romantic part of Valentine's Day, that didn't happen until over 1,000 years later. In 1382, the English poet Geoffrey Chaucer wrote a poem connecting Valentine's Day with courtly love and romance. He basically invented the idea that Valentine's Day was about romantic love, not martyrdom, and it stuck. By the 1400s, lovers across Europe were exchanging handwritten notes on February 14th, calling them Valentines. By the 1800s, mass-produced cards turned it into an industry. And by the 1900s, chocolate and flower companies turned it into the commercial holiday we know today. The original meaning, a man who died for defying an empire, got buried under heart-shaped boxes and teddy bears. But here's the thing, maybe that's not entirely a bad thing. Valentine didn't die for romance. He died because he believed that love, real, committed, covenantal love, was worth protecting, even when the most powerful empire on earth said it wasn't. He believed that choosing to bind your life to another person's life, for better or worse, was sacred, that it mattered, that no government, no emperor, no law could break what two people chose to build together. And when you strip away the candy and the commercials and the overpriced menus, that's still what Valentine's Day is supposed to be about. Not flowers, but the radical idea that love, the committed, sacrificial, defiant kind of love, is worth everything, even your life.
So this February 14th, when you see heart-shaped boxes and teddy bears, remember, you're celebrating a man who was beheaded for believing love mattered more than empires. And maybe that's the most romantic thing of all. Comment down below what you're getting your person for this Valentine. And if you have no one, you can at least gift yourself some cool merch. Link in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.